I was just thinking about this. I wonder what ever happened to Blue Origin. I'm thinking maybe they bit off a bit more than they could chew. I know they just landed a contract to build a moon lander, which they have, after winning that, they partnered with some old guard aerospace, Lockheed or Northrop or one of those companies. Um, Not very innovative. They're going to go back to things. Their lander looked like a basically old school type of lunar lander, but bigger, um, more balls on it, I guess. um, Blue balls. Anyway, their new Shepard program, which was supposed to be taking passengers up into a suborbital flight this year. We haven't heard anything about it. I'm looking at the launch schedule. Their launch cadence has really dropped off. It was, 2 to 3 launches per year with that. Basically, it's if you're not familiar with New Shepard, it's a small rocket, looks like a bathtub, penis-shaped bathtub sort of thing. It's got a capsule on it that can hold 8 or 10 people. They haven't flown it with people on it yet, but they did a test of the escape system, the emergency escape in the event of booster failure. That kind of worked. It did separate properly. However, since there are no aerodynamic surfaces on the capsule, it would have been a hell of a ride to be on that thing because it was tumbling and spinning and all over the place. So maybe they had to rework that a little bit, but I mean, gluing fins on isn't that hard. Um, Basically, the last launch they said it was December 11th of 2019. That was NS12, New Shepard 12. And I remember watching. Actually, I remember watching New Shepard 11, which was May 2nd of 2019, and they announced at that one. They announced that the very next one would have people on it. That they said it during the webcast. You can go back on the YouTube and watch it, unless they've edited that part out. But they did say that the very next New Shepard launch, which would happen that same year, would be crewed. Would have Amazon employees or Blue Origin employees, whatever. It's Jeff Bezos' company, um, and it never did. When New Shepard 12 launched, it did not have people on it. But the next one, according to the schedule, is going to be the crewed test flight number 1, and it was scheduled to happen sometime in 2020. Well, here it is. We're in September, almost over halfway done with September, um, and it's not even on the schedule yet. So it doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. Now, typically, they don't really put their launch dates out that far ahead. It just all of a sudden you find out, oh, by the way, there's a New Shepard launch. But it doesn't look very good for them. It doesn't look like that they're putting the effort into this program to make it feasible. My understanding was that they were going to sell tickets to or suborbital launches to fund other adventures like the New Glenn. Haven't seen much from New Glenn. Of course, Blue Origin tends to be quite secretive about their stuff. Um, so I'm not sure what's going on. They have built a rocket factory in Huntsville, Alabama, where they're I think that's where it is, where they're supposedly building the New Glenn rocket, which is a super heavy booster, so much bigger than the New Shepard. So they kind of skipped everything and they went from a small suborbital straight to uh, super heavy, which not sure that's a good iterative process in developing rockets. It's kind of like, SpaceX went from the Falcon 1, they started developing a Falcon 5, skipped that, went to the Falcon 9, went to the Falcon Heavy, and then the Super Heavy, which is being developed right now. That's been well over 12 years of development, um, with lots and lots and lots of flights, lots of tests, lots of test failures. And I'm not sure the Blue Origin is equipped to handle any of a single failure. They haven't. They only had one failure, and that was on New Shepard 1. It was a partial failure. The capsule was fine. The capsule touched down, but the booster crashed on the return. Um, but they only have, I think, 3 or 4 New Shepard spacecraft. Um, so why they're not flying them, I have no idea. But maybe you know something. If you know anything about Blue Shep or Blue Origin, where are they? What's Jeff Bezos up to? Do they have a future in the new space industry? It kind of seems like they maybe bit off a bit more than they can chew. Perhaps they are spread too thin. They I don't know what kind of talent pool they have, but maybe they pulled all the engineers off of New Shepard and put them onto New Glenn, trying to get that, or maybe onto the Blue Ball lander. But I don't really know where their focus is, if they even have much of a roadmap ahead of them that they can follow. So anyway, if you know anything, please leave a comment because I would be curious to know. Nikola stock is down 20% today after Trevor Milton announced his resignation. Whether that was forced or voluntary is unknown, but he is no longer associated with Nikola at all. Stepped down from his position as executive chairman and resigned from his seat on the board. Some speculating that that's GM causing that to happen. Who knows? But based on that, the stock price dropped, which is interesting because that's probably good news. That's the only way Nikola could possibly survive is if he gets out of there. The fact that it dropped afterwards seems to indicate to me that Nikola is just a cult. They were not people did not invest in the company. They invested in Trevor Milton, and he had a lot of people conned. So that's a very interesting development. Definitely the fact that everybody's pulling their money out after he goes. They don't believe in the technology. They don't believe in the batteries. They don't believe in the hydrogen fuel cells or the trucks or the Badger or any of that. Really, all they had was their faith in the idea that this guy was somehow smarter than Elon Musk, who is a guy who basically dropped out of college to sell used cars. That's actually his. That's what his resume actually says. He's not an engineer, never was. So how he managed to con everybody, I guess he was a very good used car salesman. But anyway, other than that, Battery Day, we don't have a whole lot coming up. The Falcon 9 launch that was scheduled for last week has been scrubbed a few times, basically due to weather at the recovery area. Interestingly, the drone ship, the ocean currents out there where they were too strong, so that the thrusters on the drone ship weren't able to allow the drone ship to hold its station, and it was drifting, and so they had to basically scrub. And I haven't seen what the scheduled new scheduled date is, so we'll have to wait a little bit on that.